Hello everybody, and a happy new year to you all. I hope you had a great holiday period, and I hope you're not too hungover from celebrating the new year. Now, starting off a whole new year, starting off a whole new month, so that means once again we're going to be looking at a request from Patreon coming from Bladed Thesis, and he's asked me to look at Ren. Now, I heard this name being batted around quite a lot a little while ago. There was a lot of noise around this artist for a while, but I never actually got around to looking at who they are. So, you know, it's quite a relief that someone's actually suggested that I look at something by them. I had no idea about who they are. I don't know anything about the artist or band. So, yeah, I'm going into this completely blind. I have no idea what the kind of music is. I have no idea about who the artist is. Anything. So, yeah, like I said, there was a big noise about them a little while back. It was like a year or so ago, I think. And they seem to be all over the place, but I never actually got round to seeing. So, obviously, I know very little or nothing about this person, so I had to look them up. And what I have for you is Ren, otherwise known as Ren Erin Gill, born in March 1990, known professionally as Ren, is a Welsh singer, songwriter, musician, rapper, producer and director, born in Bangor in Wales. He was a member of the indie hip-hop band Trick the Fox and the British busking band The Big Push. Okay, not heard of either of those. In 2022, Ren released Hi Ren, which is the track that we're going to actually look at today. It was a viral video that charted worldwide in YouTube's trending music chart video chart. It garnered 6.8 million views in just 2 months and received an honourable mention for Best European Music Video at the Prague Music Video Awards, as well as a nomination for Best Music Video at Camera Image in 2023. It can be found on many platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, yada yada yada. The next 6 songs Ren released: Sick Boy, Bittersweet Symphony. Is that a cover of The Verve? Because I like that song. I think that's a good song. Illest of Our Time, Animal Flow and Suicide. Also appeared in the United Kingdom's trending music video chart on YouTube. He was invited to play at Glastonbury and other major UK summer music festivals. So there you go. He seems to have had some quite. He seems to have found quite some success, and from what I can tell, it was all independently released. Yeah, it says here that it's an independent release. He doesn't actually have a label, or according to this. So, you know, having released his music and apparently done his own music video for Hi Ren, he's actually managed to garner quite some success. Like I said, there was quite a big noise about him a little while ago, and if this is the case, I can see why. You know, he's managed to do quite well for himself. I know there have been other YouTube musical artists who have managed the same, such as Post Malone. Don't get me started on Post Malone. Cannot stand the man. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, just not me. But anyway, you know, there have been other musical artists from YouTube who have been quite successful, so that's where Ren has come from. That's where the big noise around him came from, apparently. I was unaware of that until just now. So yeah, like I said, Bladed Thesis has asked me to look at the Hi Ren track, which is about 9 minutes long from what I can tell, and there are a lot of lyrics. So, you know, I normally talk through the lyrics at the, you know, after I've checked out the video. I might not go through the entire lyrics because I normally read them through. But like I said, there is a lot. So we'll see if we might just pick out certain parts and discuss those. So yeah, it says that he was part of a hip-hop band and a busking group, so that kind of leads me to maybe understand the kind of music. I could be completely wrong. He could have gone a complete different direction for his solo work. I don't know. All that remains is to find out. So yeah, I'll jump in and have a look at this video. But before we do that, if you could just take take a moment to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would really, really mean the world to me. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is just fantastic. You know, I never expected to get this far. I never expected to be doing this for as long as I did. You know, I thought I'd be lucky if I released 100 videos and maybe even got 100 subscribers. To be almost at 10,000 is amazing to me. I know there are much more popular ones out there, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, I have also been doing this for about 6, nearly 7 years now, and not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little disheartening. You know, because I like to think I do something a little different than most others, you know, because most other reactors look at a music video and go, yeah, I like it, no I didn't, and that's about all you get. You know, I like to talk about what the song is about, the meanings, the themes, the morals behind a song, you know, and that's something I think gets overlooked quite a lot. You know, so I like to think I do something different, something I like to think it's interesting because it interests me. So, you know, some people might not like it, that's fair enough, but, you know, I thought people might be intrigued by that sort of thing. So, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, if you could like and subscribe, you know, it would mean the world to me. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes a fraction of a second, but it does make the biggest difference to me and the channel. But with that being said, let's jump into this track and see what we've got. So, Hi Ren by Ren. Let's have a look. Still hot.
Hi there, Ran. It's been a little while. Did you miss me? You thought you buried me, didn't you? Risky. Cause I always come back. Deep down, you know that. Deep down, you know I'm always in periphery. Ran, on your pleased to see me. It's been weeks since we spoke, bro. I know you need me. You're the sheep, I'm the shepherd. Not your place to lead me. Not your place to be biting off the hand that feeds me. Hi, Ran. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself since my therapist told me I'm ill. And I've been making some progress lately. And I've learned some new coping skills. So I haven't really needed you much, man. I think we need to just step back and chill. Ren, you sound more insane than I do. You think that those doctors are really there to guide you? Been through this a million times. Your civilian mind is so perfect at always being lied to. Okay, take another pill, boy. Drown yourself in the sound of white noise. Follow this 10-step program, rejoice. All your problems will be gone. Fucking dumb boy. Nah, mate. This time is different, man. Trust me. I feel like things might be falling in place. And my music's been kinda doing bits too. Like I actually might do something great. And when I'm gone, maybe I'll be remembered for doing something special with myself. That's why I don't think that we should talk, man. Cause when you're with me, it never seems to help. You think that you can amputate me? I am you, you are me, you are I am we are one. Split in two, that makes one, so you see. You gotta kill you if you wanna kill me. I'm not leftover dinner, I'm not scraps on the side. Oh, your music is thriving, delusional guy. Where's your top 10 hit? Where's your interview with Oprah? Where are your Grammys, Ran? Nowhere. Yeah, but my music's not commercial like that. I never chase numbers, statistics or stats. I never write hooks for the radio, they never even play me, so why would I concern myself with that? But my music is really connecting, and the people who find it respect it. And for me that's enough, cause this life's been tough, so it gives me a purpose I can rest in. Man, you sound so pretentious. Ran, your music is so self-centered. No one wants to hear another song about how much you hate yourself. Trust me. You should be so lucky, having me inside you to guide you, remind you to manage expectations, provide you perspective. That thing you neglected, I get it. You wanna be a big deal, next Jimi Hendrix, forget it.
Man, it's not like that.
Man, it's just like that, I'm inside you, you twat.
No, it's not, man, you're wrong. When I write, I belong.
Let me break the fourth wall by acknowledging this song. Ren sits down, has a stroke of genius. He wants to write a song that was not done previous. A battle with his subconscious, Eminem did it.
Played on guitar.
Plan B did it.
Man, you're not original, you criminal rip-off artist. The pinnacle of your success is stealing other people's material.
Ren, mate, we've heard it all before. She sells seashells on the seashore.
Fuck you, I don't need you, I don't need to hear this. Cause I'm fine by myself, I'm a genius. And I will be great, and I will make waves. And I'll shake up the whole world beneath us.
That's right, speak your truth, your fucking god complex leaks out of you. It's refreshing to actually hear you say it instead of downplay it.
Music is all about the creative process, and if people can find something to relate to within that, then that's just a bonus.
Fuck you, I'ma fucking kill you, Ren.
Well, fucking kill me then, let's fucking have you, Ren.
I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots, I choose if you die. Yeah, I call the shots and so I choose who survives. I'll tie you up in knots when I lock you inside.
Newsflash, I was created at the dawn of creation. I am temptation. I am the snake in Eden. I am the reason for treason, beheading all kings. I am sin, with no rhyme or reason. Son of the morning, Lucifer, Antichrist, father of lies. Mustopheles, truth in a blender, deceitful pretender, the banished avenger, the righteous surrender. When standing in front of my solar eclipse, my name is stitched to your lips. So you see, I won't bow to the will of a mortal, feeble and normal. You wanna kill me? I'm eternal immortal. I live in every decision that catalyzes chaos, that causes division. I live inside death, the beginning of end. I am you, you are me, I am you, friend.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself, and I've spent half my life ill. But just as sure as the tide starts turning, just as sure as the night has dawned, just as sure as the rainfall soon runs dry when you stand in an eye of a storm. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. I was made by his hand, it's all part of his plan that I stand on my own 2 feet. And you know me, my will is eternal. And you know me, you've met me before. Face to face with a beast, I will rise from the east and I'll settle on the ocean floor. And I go by many names also. Some people know me as hope. Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. And you know how I know that I'll prosper? Cause I stand here beside you today. I have stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake. So cower at the man I've become when I sing from the top of my lungs. That I won't retire, I'll stand in your fire, inspire that me to be strong. And when I am gone, I will rise in the music that I left behind. Ferocious, persistent, immortal like you, we're a climate different side. When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences, with autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare. But there were victims, and there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum. eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast. It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got. The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax. And I learned to soften, and that dance got easier. It is this eternal dance that separates human beings from angels, from demons, from gods. And I must not forget, we must not forget, that we are human beings.
How incredibly interesting. Not at all what I expected. I actually like the presentation of it. You know, just him alone in a pretty much empty room and a guitar. That's it. Musically, it's just the guitar. There is nothing else. And I quite like that. The minimalist style that he's going for with the piece of music. I like it. It's very well presented. And in a way, well, I mean, I'm guessing it's done purposefully to actually highlight and illustrate what he's talking about. And the way he's presented it vocally as well, he's having an argument with himself, essentially. Now you could liken it almost to Gollum from Lord of the Rings. You know, two different sort of personalities arguing with each other. You know, you've got the optimistic, hopeful side, and then you've got this sort of negative, hateful side. You know, sort of in constant conflict with each other. And this is something I've tried to explain to people before about my own brain. My own brain is constantly arguing with itself, and it is exhausting. And this seems to be what he's talking about here. You know, he's talking about that negative voice within your head. I don't think he's talking about multiple personalities here, although it does kind of come across that way, but it's more that sort of nagging voice in the back of your head. You know, you might be sitting there for the most part of your life going, you know, I'm enjoying life, I'm doing all these fun things, I'm having this fun time, I want to go and do this, I want to go and do that, and then there's this little voice in the back of your head going, you can't do that, don't be ridiculous. And if you do try it, you're going to fuck it up and fail. And that seems to be what this one's talking about, because, you know, he's talking about, you know, doing his music, and then, you know, he comes back at himself saying, your music's pretentious, everything you're doing has been done before, why are you even bothering? No one cares. You know, and it's just that sort of naysaying negative voice that he seems to be in constant conflict with, and he's trying to overcome that. You know, and right at the end of the song, he does that sort of spoken word bit to the camera, and whether this is an actual in-depth thing about himself, you know, because he's talking about autoimmune diseases, illness and psychosis, is that something he personally went through? I didn't actually read all the way through the information I found, I just went through the bit that I read. But is that something he personally went through? You know, has he struggled with, like, well, apparently mental illnesses and apparently autoimmune diseases as well? Is that something he's personally gone through? So he's had to face quite a intense battle in that case to get to where he is, you know. And, you know, like I say, he's put this song out on YouTube, which apparently he's done completely by himself, and he's gained quite some notoriety from it. So he has managed to make quite a name for himself, it would seem. And in listening to that song, I can see why, because that was very intriguing. It was very, I want to say, unique, because it's something quite different. But like he says throughout the song, you know, there are similarities to other things. I mean, he references Eminem and can't remember who else he mentioned, but he did mention another Plan B. He mentioned Plan B. So he references and acknowledges the fact that he's talking about struggling with his mental health and this, that, and the other, and he's aware that other artists have done it as well. But he's doing it in what I'd like to say is his own unique way, because this is something quite different. I mean, it kind of reminds me of I can't remember the name of the band now. There was a heavy metal band a few years ago, and they did a song called Immortal Twins. And the song was basically an argument between two people. And he's kind of done it like that. He's sort of talking to himself. And he's, throughout the video, he's facing different ways, and the lighting changes depending on which side of his, I don't want to say personality, because it's not necessarily his personality that's got the two sides. It's just two different voices in his head. And each one sort of defines each side. He's got the sort of cleaner, more innocent sounding voice, and the slightly brighter aspect in the video, which is the optimistic side. And then you've got a slightly snarling, there is a change in his voice. It's not like drastic, but there is that sort of almost snarl to the way he speaks when he does the negative voice. So I like the way it's presented. I think it's very well done. And I like what he's talking about, because, he's saying, there's that negative voice inside you that will tell you that you can't do something, that you shouldn't even bother trying. But if you do, if you listen to that voice, you're going to be miserable. If you listen to your positive side, if you go and actually try stuff, if you fail, yes, you will fail and it will feel bad, but at least you tried. That seems to be what he's talking about. And, the song opens up with, "Hi there, Ren, it's been a while, did you miss me? You thought you'd buried me, didn't you? Risky. 'Cause I always come back. Deep down you know that. Deep down you know I'm always in the periphery." So, it would seem he had a quite positive and optimistic point in his life, and everything was going very, very well for him. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this negative voice pops up and goes, "Ha, did you miss me? You've been doing too well. It's time to stop that. I'm going to put a stop to that. I'm going to make you feel miserable now. You thought you'd gotten rid of all this negativity in your life, but you know what? I'm always here. I'm always sort of lingering in the background. And the moment that little sort of twinge of self-doubt comes in, I'm right there and I'm going to take over." He says, "Ren, aren't you pleased to see me? It's been weeks since we've spoke, bro. I know you need me. You're the sheep, I'm the shepherd. Not your place to lead me. Not your place to be biting off the hand that feeds me." So, this negative voice is saying, like, I'm in charge here. You should listen to me. All that positive shit, that's nah. You got to listen to me, because I'm telling you what the world's really like. And this is a certain way. This is a way that sort of it's almost a good explanation of depression in a way, because you have that overriding voice. No matter how positive you want to try to be, you have this negative voice in the back of your head, and it seems to shout louder than everything else. You might be sitting there going, I'm feeling really good about myself. I feel great. But then that negative voice pops up and goes, we ain't having that. And that one shouts louder and overrides everything. It's, I can't think of how to, it's like when it comes to compliments. Someone can say hundreds of nice things about you. They can give you all the compliments in the world. And then they turn around, and out of those 100 nice things, they say one bad thing. That one bad thing is the thing that's going to stick with you. You'll always remember that bad negative thing. And that's kind of what he's going on about here, Despite all the nice goodness and happiness that he's had, that negative voice is still in the background, shouting him down, shouting louder than all the positive voices. And despite all the success that he might be having, all it takes is one moment of that negativity to drag him back down again. So, negativity is it's poisonous, it's infectious, and it spreads quickly. You know, like I say, you could be having the best kind of day. You could be having the best month, the best week, the best year. But all it takes is that one moment for something bad to happen, and that shit will spread very, very quickly unless you actively push against it. And it's very difficult to do. So yeah, it's quite an interesting song. And it says there, you know, "Hi Ren, I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be myself since my therapist told me I'm ill." So I think this is the more positive side that's talking there. You know, I've been taking some time, you know, I've been trying to separate myself from this sort of thing. I've been like trying to keep myself quiet in the background. You know, my therapist has told me I'm ill, so my therapist has said, you know, you're really struggling with this negativity or depression or whatever it is. You need to try and help yourself here. And it says, "I've been making some progress lately. I've learned some new coping skills. I haven't really needed you much, man. I think we just need to step back and chill." So he's like, I don't need this negativity. You know, my therapist has taught me new ways to deal with this negativity. You know, I've been making some progress. I've been improving myself and seeing more of the positivity that I need to see and not letting the negativity get to me as much. So, yeah. And then, you know, that negative voice hits back, "Ren, you sound more insane than I do," which is again what that negative voice does. You know, you could be feeling great, you could be feeling wonderful, and then that negative voice in your head goes, "What are you so fucking happy for? What have you got to be happy about?" You know, and it all comes crashing down again. You know, you think those doctors are really there to guide you. You've been through this a million times. You know, so do you really think the doctors are trying to help you? All they want is the money out of your pocket. You know, they want you to keep coming back, so they'll tell you anything you want to hear, but it's all going to be lies, sort of thing. So again, take another pill, boy. Drown yourself in the sound of white noise. Follow this 10-step program. Rejoice. All your problems will be gone. Fucking dumb boy. So again, you know, it's that negative voice saying, you know, you can throw as many pills as you want down your throat. You can sit there listening to white noise, try meditating. You can follow a 10-step program to a healthier mind. It means fucking nothing. It's all going to come crashing down. The moment I sneak my claws into the back of your brain and tell you everything's horrible, it's all going to come crashing down. It's all going to be pointless. It's not doing anything. So, you know, I love the way he's put this together. Like I said, there is a lot of lyrics here, so I'm not going to go through the whole lot. But, you know, he's trying to talk himself up. He says, where is it? "I'm not leftover dinner. I'm not scraps on the side. You know, oh, your music is thriving. Delusional guy. Where's your top 10 hit? Where's your interview with Oprah? Where's the Grammys, Ren? Nowhere." So he's saying, you know, I'm doing really well. You know, I've released this music and, you know, things have been going positive. There's been this big noise around me. And then that negative voice going, has it? Really? You know, has it all been going well for you? Really? If it's all been going so well, why haven't you got all these awards and stuff like that? I mean, he did get nominated for a few. You know, where's your top 10 hit and this, that and the other? And he's saying, yeah, but my music's not commercial like that. That's not what I'm aiming for. You know, he says, "I never chase numbers, statistics or stats." So, you know, he makes music because he loves music. He loves making music. You know, he's not necessarily out there looking for top 10 hits. He's not necessarily out there looking for fame. He's doing it because it's what he loves doing. That's what he's suggesting here. You know, I never write hooks for the radio. They never even play me. You know, I'm not doing commercial music. You know, why would I concern myself with that? But it says, "But my music is really connecting and the people who find it respect it. And for me, that's enough. Because this life's been tough, so it gives me a purpose I can rest in." So, you know, he's saying, I'm not making music, you know, to gain fame. I'm not making music to gain notoriety. I'm not chasing awards and stuff like that. I'm making music because I like making music. I'm making music because it makes me feel better. And, you know, anybody else who finds this music and looks into it and listens to my music, you know, they respect me for it. You know, they're not, I can't think of the words I'm looking for. You know, he's not making it to chase fame. He's making it because it's almost therapeutic for him. It's a release for him. You know, this is something when I was the singer for a metal band. I enjoyed it because it gave me a release, because I had so much stress and aggression, so much, I struggled with depression. I still do, struggle with depression. Going out and bellowing down a microphone gave this amazing release of all the stress and tension that was built up inside me. It gave me that release, and it was therapeutic. It was wonderful. And that's what he's saying. He does the music because it gives him that sort of feeling. And, if he can help other people achieve that feeling by them listening to his music, that's what he's after. That's what he's trying to do. And Eminem's even said this about his own music. He wants to write music that people can sit and vibe to. They can, just chill, relax, and sort of let all their troubles sort of slake away. Give them a moment of peace and, calm. And that's what he's saying he's doing here. People who find it respect it, and for me that's enough because life's been tough. He wants to give people that moment of clarity that they can be happy before that inevitable negative voice comes crawling back in. So, I like it. It's a constant argument between the two sides of his brain, and it's something that I can very much relate to because that's how I feel. And I've tried to explain it to people before, what it's like in my head, the fact that there's two sides of my brain. They're constantly arguing with each other, and one side shouts louder, and it's always the negative side. And it's very difficult to explain that to people. But I like what he's doing here because the negative voice at one point says, you can't get rid of me. The only way you can get rid of me is to kill yourself because I am a permanent part of you. There's no way to get rid of me. Well, short of a lobotomy, I expect. But he said, if you want to kill me, you have to get rid of yourself as well. So, you end up losing either way because I'm either always going to be here or neither of us are going to be here. And I like what he's done here. And, the actual performance itself, I think, was very, very good. It was very interesting. Like I said, I like the minimal approach that he went to it. Just that empty room, him and a guitar, and that was it. And, it started off in a very unexpected way with those sort of weird high-pitched oohs and stuff that he brought in later on. And I like the sort of argument aspect of the song, where it's like the two halves of his brain arguing with each other. And he's trying to tell that negative voice in his head to just fuck off, let him be. Let him be happy. I want to be happy. Go away. I don't want to sit here with all these negative thoughts. And the negative thoughts are like, I'm part of you, bitch. I ain't going anywhere. But, he's still fighting against it because he wants to have that positivity. And it's like that sort of message to people. It's like, don't let the negativity win. Keep fighting for the positive stuff. Keep trying for the positive stuff. Don't just give up. And I like that. And, he did that spoken bit at the end. When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences with autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. So saying, when I was 17, I basically said, I'm going to defeat all these negative things that are happening to me. I'm going to fight these evil voices in my mind. He said for the next 10 years, apparently, after he made this decision to be more positive, then a whole bunch of bad things happened to him. So it's almost like, I told the voices in my head to fuck off, and they didn't like that very much, so they made me very, very ill. He said, as I got older, I realised there was no real winners and that there were no real losers in psychological warfare, but there were victims and there were students, So through all of this, he realised there's no way he can really win, but he can't lose either. But the thing is, there's always victims, whether it be himself or the people around him, because people who struggle with mental illnesses, that more often than not, people on the outside do get caught up in it, and sometimes people get hurt, not physically, or sometimes physically, but more or less, more often than not, emotionally. You might snap at someone, you might push people away because you don't want you don't want to hurt them, although you unintentionally hurt them, if that makes sense. Like you sit, people might come up to you and go, "What's wrong? I want to be there for you. I want to help you," and you push them away. You know, tell them to leave you alone because you don't want to unleash all that misery that you're holding on them. But in doing that, you hurt them anyway, you know. So there are victims regardless. There are students, you know, there are people who learn from this, and you know, he's trying to learn from it. You know, it wasn't David versus Goliath, it was a pendulum. You know, it's not a one-sided battle. It's not like something small fighting against something big. It's something that swings backwards and forwards. You know, sometimes something good happens, sometimes something bad happens. It's a constant switch between good and bad, you know, eternally swaying from dark to light, he says there, you know. So, and the more intensely the light shone, the darker the shadows grew. And I like that line. I think it's very, very clever. You know, because the better things got, the lighter the, you know, the brighter the light shone. But then when the depression and negativity hit, it hit so much harder. You know, so the shadows got dark. I like the way that's been used. I think that's brilliantly worded. You know, because the better and happier he got, when the misery hit, the misery seemed to be that much more miserable, that much more depressing, because he had much further to fall, as it were. You know, because he was so high up in, you know, his happiness level was so high that he had a whole lot further to fall, and it did enough drag him down. You know, and there's that thing going, I was so happy, now I'm so goddamn miserable, what the hell happened? You know, how could I be this miserable when I was that happy? You know, so I love the way that line is done. I think that is brilliant. It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. So again, you know, this sort of negative thing, you can't necessarily ever get rid of it, but you can try and quiet it. You know, it's an eternal dance. You know, it's an eternal back and forth, like the earlier pendulum thing. So I think this was brilliant. It's very, very clever. And I can see why there was such a big noise around this guy. Like I said, it was about a year or two ago. You know, there was a big noise around this guy. And I can see why. If the rest of his music is nearly as clever as this, I can see why there was such a big noise around him. Because I think this is an absolutely brilliant piece of music. The performance was fantastic. You know, it really illustrated the subject matter of the song. You know, because there is that isolation element to it. You know, him sitting alone in a room. You know, that isolation that he feels in that sort of depression, possibly. And you know, then there's the argumentative element to it. You know, the two different sides arguing with each other. You know, the happy and the misery. You know, I love the way it's been done. I think it's very, very clever, absolutely fascinating. And, you know, the different vocal styles that he threw in there as well, you know, there was elements of rap in there. Most of it seemed to be, it was almost spoken word, but melodic, if that makes sense. You know, so it wasn't necessarily singing, it wasn't necessarily rapping, it was sort of a melodic spoken word, almost like poetry. Which I suppose it really was. You know, so I love the way he's done it. The way this was composed, the way it was put together, absolutely fantastic and very fascinating. And this has made me want to investigate his music even more. To see, you know, I want to know, is the rest of his stuff as clever as this? You know, because he's very self-referential. I mean, he even says, let me break the fourth wall and acknowledge this song. You know, so it's very clever. You know, there were some lines in there that I thought were hilarious as well. I can't necessarily pick them out because, like I said, there were a lot of them. There's a lot of material here. But, yeah, very clever. Very interesting. And I'm glad this got suggested because, this, like I said, this is one of those ones that I kept seeing but I never got around to looking at. And it's one that I really should, because there are other bands like that, like Sleep Token, for example. You know, I see loads of people talking about them and people raving about them, but I've never actually listened to any of their music. And I keep meaning to, but I never quite get around to it. So I really should at some point look at some of them. But this, yeah, absolutely fascinating. I'm really curious as to what the rest of his material is like. So I will have to investigate that at some other point. Now, I've probably waffled on for quite a long time because, like I said, the song itself was 9 minutes long, and, you know, I didn't go through all of the lyrics like I normally do because, like I said, there is a lot of them. And this video would have been God knows how long. So, I did what I could. So yeah, I'm intrigued. If anybody can suggest something similar, or maybe even something different, something contrasting to this, maybe a different style or whatever by the same artist, I'd be very intrigued to have a look at it, because yeah, this was fascinating. Anyway, I don't know what else I can say on that, so I'll leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you could perhaps give it a like or a subscribe if you haven't already, because it would really, really mean the world to me. I've been doing this for about 6 years, nearly 7 years now, and not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little bit disheartening. And, I like to think I do something different to most other reactors, because most reactors look at a song, look at a video and go, yeah, I liked it, no I didn't, that's about it, and move on. I like to discuss what the song is about. I like to find the meanings and themes and stories behind songs, because I think that's something that gets very, very overlooked in music. Because with heavy metal, for example, it's often misunderstood. A lot of people think it's all about violence, anger, murder, and stuff like that, and that's just simply not true. And people don't take time to look at what the song itself is about. They don't look at the meanings behind the songs, and that's why I do what I do. Because I've covered close to 900 songs on this channel, and very few of them have been meaningless. Most of them have had a story behind them, and most of them have had a real world attachment to them, whether it's talking about things like mental health or homeless veterans or war or domestic violence, depression, these sorts of things. These are real world problems that very few people want to talk about and don't really get addressed all that much in pop music. I'm not saying it doesn't at all, but it's rare. And there's this misconception that heavy metal is all violence and anger, and that's just simply not true. And I want to dispel that by talking about, investigating, and have a conversation about what the song is about. And that's why I do what I do. And some people might not like it. I can understand that. I can respect that. But I like to find out these things. I like to investigate these things. And I thought maybe there might be people out there who might also enjoy that, which is why I do what I do. So, if you could like and subscribe, I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is amazing. It's not something I thought I'd ever actually accomplish. I know it's not anything really compared to other reaction channels out there, but if I could get to 10,000, that would be absolutely fantastic. If I'm honest, I never thought I'd get past 100 videos. I never thought I'd get past 100 subscribers, to be honest. I just wanted to talk about music, because music is a huge passion of mine. And it is what it is. So if you could like and subscribe, it would mean an absolute world to me. It doesn't cost you anything, takes a fraction of a second, but it does make the biggest difference to me and the channel. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else I can say now, so I'm going to leave that as it is. And thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
That's right, speak your truth, your fucking god complex leaks out of you. It's refreshing to actually hear you say it instead of downplay it.
Music is all about the creative process, and if people can find something to relate to within that, then that's just a bonus.
Fuck you, I'ma fucking kill you, Ren.
Well, fucking kill me then, let's fucking have you, Ren.
I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots like